Now what we have here is an SMC. Model 60F. Also known as K56 in other countries. It's a 56-inch industrial. The motor pulls 1.4 amps. And the blade pitch is obscene. Oh yeah, blade pitch is absolutely obscene. I mean, obscenely steep. Okay. Oh yeah, another thing. What's so special about this one? How about the fact that it's cast fucking iron? Yeah, this is cast iron SMC. It's also an ancient SMC. As evidenced by that badge. There is a bit of storage rash. Not a surprise. Up here, we have the badge. Model 60F. Circulating fan. 110 to 120 volts. 60 cycle. Amps 1.4. RPM on high 285. Shell Manufacturing Company Limited. Also, Wilcorp. Who is Wilcorp? Out of Toronto, Canada. Wilcorp, to my knowledge, was an importer. They were a middleman who got these Hong Kong SMCs into Canada. Starting probably around 1970, if I had to take a wild guess, but I'm probably wrong. This one dates to 1973. Okay. Most Asian manufacturers started importing to the US in the late 70s. Like 78, 79. Okay, Union, CEC, TAT, Aircool, those sorts started importing in the late 70s. Now, here's the issue with timing. Cast iron SMC stopped being a thing in 1977. 1978, they switched to stamped steel. So, because of timing, you don't see these in the US. They were never really sold in the US. Wilcorp was a Canadian importer, right? But occasionally, these things do stray into the US. From the northern states. You know, the northern border states. With Canada, right? Like upstate New York, Michigan, Wisconsin, Minnesota, North Dakota, Montana, Washington, all Idaho, you know those, right? You don't see them very often. The only ones that really have surfaced were from the Midwest border states. I found this one in southern Connecticut, literally off I-95. Okay, so, story with this one is, it's never used. Has a lot of storage rash. The guy bought the fan, thought he was going to put it up in his shop. That never happened. It sat in storage for decades, a little bit of water, but never used. The blades were still in their plastic when I got it. Okay. So it has a steep blade pitch, big cast iron motor rated for 1.4 amps. Which is interesting because other 60-inch fans like Leading Edges are 1.4 amps. So I'm thinking this motor is really designed for 60-inch spans. Put 56-inch blades on it, crank up the pitch. Oh, what do you got? We'll find out. Right, so, I had been looking for a cast SMC like this for years. Years. Ever since someone in the Middle East started posting their local shit. Right? And then, I thought I was going to get one. But it turned out to be a bricked sample. It had been dropped onto concrete, bending the motor shaft, okay, cracking the end bell. Only that kind of impact can cause that kind of damage. Not a hammer. No, not a hammer. No, you have to throw this thing on the fucking concrete in order to do that kind of impact damage. So, it was a brick, and I was severely disappointed. Okay, that one was from 1974. This one's from 1973. This design came in 1973. 1972 and earlier used an even bigger motor, which may or may not be shaded pole. Someone should probably fill me in on that. Hint, hint. But, yeah, blades are aluminum, curved. The blade pitch is extremely steep. 3/4 inch down rod, right? Plastic, double layer beehive canopy. Not the 3-layer fun, or, this is actually a taller, less wide beehive canopy. Okay. It's not yellowed very much, which implies that it was stored pretty well. Except for the rust on the side. But that's nothing that spray paint can't fix. So, let's try to reach over to the switch without breaking myself, because I don't want to do that. Right? I'm sure some of you would love to see me break myself, but I'm not gonna do that. Right, so I have it on a Newtone 4-speed wall control rated for 1.5 amps. As you can see, the low speed has stalled out. So we're gonna go to medium low to get any kind of actual performance here. Yeah. So, let's see how this thing actually performs. Because if you have already gotten the impression that it's a monster, you're hitting at something correct. I mean, oh man. There was also a 36-inch version of this fan called the 36F, also imported through Wilcorp. It's even less common. Okay? There was also a residential version with 4 wood blades, 24 karat gold, which may or may not have been sold in the US. I'm not really sure. Probably not. Maybe drifted out from Canada again. Those ones are also stupid uncommon. But, yeah, Canada got all the cool stuff, while the US just had Murica shit. Like originals, ooh. Right? Early Casablancas, ooh. Emerson Blendy Boys, ooh. Yeah. Just domestic shit here. None of the good import stuff. Which I hate. Like, these things surface in Canada from time to time. Right? But no, none of the stuff really got here. Because, again, SMC actually started importing to Canada, again, around 1970 or so. Okay. Didn't reach the US until they had switched really to stamped steel. Now, SMC, yeah, like, I'm probably sounding like a broken record here, but SMC cut a lot of corners. First one was making the down rod 1/2 inch. Second one was stamped steel until they're no longer available in the US. They've exited the US market because their product is just too subpar. Alright, they still make the K56 Industrial to some capacity, I believe, but it's a turd ball now. Like, SMC is literally a shell of its former self. Yes, pun intended. I'm sure someone will like that. So this was made when SMC was really good. When SMC was SMC. So, I mean... oh, man. As for performance, right... it's already moving a good amount of air just on low. It has a slight hum to it. Only slight. It's not anything too loud. The low speed is a functional low speed with this control. I mean, ideally, you're better off using a 2 amp control for this, or at least a low speed with a higher capacitor value. So now, we're going to go to medium. Now there's a bit of a speed uptick here. As far as performance goes, yeah, it's hauling ass. Not hauling ass, but it's moving a lot of air. And it's got harmonics. It's got a low, medium-pitched moan to it. So this is really kind of a medium-high kind of speed. at least in terms of industrials. Now, the air movement is already quite intense. Okay, everything's starting to blow around already. Now, the reason it stalls out on low is probably due to one of two things. One, it's because you're reaching the limit of the control's capabilities, at least its maximum current rating. Or two, it's because the motor hasn't been broken in yet. Now, under the canopy is a plugged cord, which I kind of ghetto rigged to work here because I don't have an outlet. So, I just ghetto rigged that. So now let's get back over to the control and get to high. Now I'm sure you heard that moan. Oh yeah, this thing. Oh yeah, this thing is insane. This thing is an absolute beast. This is full blast. It's actually sucking in air from the outside. I have a door open to the room because of it's just. This is basically the most powerful industrial I've ever come across. I've said that before about Contex. I've probably said that about gold lines at some point in the past. Okay. CECs are also extremely powerful, although I have yet to obtain a 56-inch. If someone could provide me with one, I would greatly appreciate it. I have a 36. Now, oddly enough, the SMC 36F is comparable to the CEC 36-inch. So those aren't far off. So I'm thinking maybe the 56 might parallel this one in terms of performance, but I have yet to, or rival it, but I've yet to confirm that. But what I do know is this one hauls a stupid amount of air. And it has a running moan as well, which is more of a low to medium pitch. I mean, holy hell. I mean, really this thing, it has a 10-inch down rod, which I think is a 10-inch. Oddly enough, it's the same length down rod that EnviroFans come with standard. Because this thing needs that length. Because of the amount of air this thing is hauling, it needs a longer down rod in order for there to be cavitational space above the blades. Because otherwise it's not going to work, it's going to run really slow and stupid. This thing has no wobble, no bearing noise. I mean, this thing, aside from the paint, this thing's minty. Absolutely minty. And to think this, as of this recording, this fan is 48, almost 48 years old. It's bordering on antique, believe it or not. Because to a lot of people, 50 years or older signifies antique status. Oh, man. Ugh. I'm so happy to have this. I don't know what to say. I just need a high ceiling for this thing because this thing is absurd. People say, oh, gold lines, oh, they move the most air of any current industrial. That might be true. It might be true. Because industrials these days just don't, they can't hold a candle to this. Alright. I mean, the gold line might be the most powerful industrial available now. But it's by no means the most powerful among what I've seen. You know, old CECs, right? Even old cast cats, alright? The SMC 60F as seen here, obviously, alright? And possibly even old leading edge or weatherite, as they're known as in Australia. Alright? I mean, every other industrial these days, except for maybe the Dayton, or rather the Marley leading edge, right? Because Dayton doesn't use them anymore. Those ones move a fair amount of air, but nothing compared to this. Gold line moves a fair amount of air, but nothing compared to this. Right? And every other industrial is just shit. Like, say, Westinghouse Industrials are some of the worst ones out there. The Airmaster Mark 1s are some of the worst out there. Right? I mean, these days industrial offerings just aren't what they used to be, and it's sad. Really sad. But it's nice to know that these exist. And it's nice to know that something this powerful exists in 120 volt 60 hertz. I mean, oh man. This thing just oozes awesome. And it has no wobble either, which is pretty cool. No wobble. It sways a little bit from, you know, cavitational turbulence, but, it's air turbulence, but... Yeah, no. The only thing that could make this better is if it were a new in box. If it had its box, oh, that would be even better. But hey, this one's minty still, or relatively minty. Mechanically it's minty, cosmetically it needs some touch up, but again, when SMC was good. And there, believe it or not, there was a point when SMC was good. 70s. Early to mid 70s was the last of that. Sadly. And as you can see, the spin down time is quick because, again, the bearings have not broken in yet. Anyway, there you have it. A cast iron SMC 60F 56-inch industrial from 1973.